gaming in general, I think, and the reason I brought this up, so I was at work the other day, and I don't know how it came up, but it just came up with the question of like, "Oh, do you play video games?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And I feel like there's more and more. I don't know if it's kids or just today's generation or just in general. Is gaming like dying? Like, are more people playing? Like, is there more people playing games or less people playing games than let's say when like I was in high school in like 2013 and college and things like that?
I think there's more people playing games, but I think that the way that gaming is going is something that a traditional gamer really hates because I really hate it. I really hate where gaming is right now. It's almost sad to watch it die because to me it's dying, but the numbers would tell you otherwise. Gaming has never been more popular.
I guess yeah, that makes sense because like esports and like all this like other things, tournaments, streamers, like what do you call those? Like content creator, like teams and things like that.
Streamers, content creators, esports, conferences, just the fact that every single person now walks around with this in their pocket. I mean, like gaming has never been more appealing to a wider group of people. You know what I mean? But just for me personally, I think if you are a traditional gamer like me, you're kind of watching the death of gaming as we once knew it. And it makes me feel like kind of that like old man, like, get off my lawn. You know what I mean? Because to just be like, well, back in my day, it was totally different. You know what I mean?
So it's
But
evolving,
it's evolving,
and
but
we're not really evolving with it. You
we're
think,
not,
or
yeah, exactly, dude. Like traditional gamers are not evolving with gaming. Um, and it's honestly really sad.
I think it's hard to evolve when you get told that you might not own your games or every little thing you have to do in the game is you have to pay for it with a microtransaction or everything is a live service game. You can't just play offline anymore. I think that's why it's hard to evolve when we've known such a time when place of gaming where it's like, I bought this game, this is my game, this game is fun as I play it. But now you're telling me that to get the full base game, $70, and then to get the extra like parts of the battle pass, I have to buy the battle pass, I have to buy the tokens for the battle pass, I have to, you know what I mean? That's where I think gaming is it's almost I don't what's the word? Not poison, toxic. I feel like the gaming industry is toxic right now.
It's clearly not in a good spot, and my reasoning behind that argument is I agree with you wholeheartedly that like I remember when that stuff wasn't a thing, but like I said, gaming is so popular and so widespread right now, and specifically the younger generation, they don't know anything different. They don't understand the times before it was just free to play microtransactions, or don't worry about having a disc, just download it for $80, and they want to get it 2 days early for an extra $100, and they want to buy all these skins and stuff like that. It's like that's where gaming has kind of evolved to, because these companies have figured out ways to just make more money, and the generations before or the younger generations, they don't know any other way. They don't know of like being able to go to a Blockbuster and rent a game and try it out for 2 days before you buy it and be like, okay, this game sucks ass, I'm glad I didn't buy this. You know what I mean? Like they just don't know that stuff.
Do you think that's kind of where streaming's taking us though? Like for me, like I look at games on Gamepass all the time. Like, okay, I'm gonna spend $15 to play these couple games to see if I actually like them. Let the subscription cancel out, and then I will buy them. You know what I mean? Do you feel like that's very similar or not really at all?
I mean, I think it's a good. I think it's similar, but the whole thing behind this is like it's becoming so um it's becoming so mainstream that the people that feel like me don't have a choice. Like I don't have a choice anymore. When like if you were to tell me back in PlayStation 3 era that in two console generations I would have to worry about not having a disk drive, I would have called you crazy. How am I supposed to play my games if there's no disk drive? Why would that even be brought up? You know what I mean? And like a lot of these games, some of them aren't even getting physical releases.
No, and when they do get physical releases, it's a placeholder for the disc. You know what I mean? Like the you still download the game off the internet. The disc is just saying, "Hey, you have license to this game. You can put it on your console."
Like it killed me to buy Wukong. It killed me. It killed me to buy it. I wanted the game so bad, and I just kept holding out. Please come out with a physical. I just want the disc. I just want the case. I just want to feel like I bought the game, but I want to play the game so bad. So I just buckled down and I just downloaded it, and it sucks. It sucks because I mean, guys, we talk about this all the time. You do not own your games. You don't own them. You don't. You really don't own your games. I know your Steam library is jam packed full of crap. You bought all of it. You know, it's all sitting right there for you. But eventually, there's going to be so many games on Steam that they cannot hold that entire catalog. And games that you love, that you paid for, are suddenly just going to be poof. It's like when they take your favorite show off Netflix, or they take a movie off Paramount Plus that you wanted to watch. You're just like, poof, it's gone. Oh, it's a poof. You know what I mean? And I don't know. And it doesn't seem to matter to a lot of people. They just don't care.
I will admit, I don't feel like I was so strict about buying everything digital, or not digital. Sorry, the other way around. I was so strict about, yeah, physical, but kind of like we're talking about. I I appreciate the all access no matter where I am. Like I went and bought the Legion Go for a second. Granted, I took it back just because I didn't feel like I was gonna get enough use out of it. But like I enjoyed the idea of having my my Steam library in my hands no matter where I went. And I think that's what's really cool, that it is so accessible. But kind of going off of that, I think because it's so accessible, game developers are like, let's just release as much as we can as fast as we can. And it's not going into the depth of the stories and the quality of the game. And I think that's another part where gaming is at its lowest point, or it's toxic in the sense that games aren't as good as they were 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, or even like 3 years ago, to be honest. Like right before COVID, I felt like games were like at an all time high, and then it just dropped.
I mean, like, and I hate to say it, they don't have to be. That's just 100% just like the the audience, it's just pandering to an audience that doesn't give a shit. You know what I mean? They don't like some people don't care if the game is like fantastic. You know what I mean? Like they have to put in minimal effort here. And I think we're just kind of allowing them to let it happen. Like the games that are coming out, it's just like look at what we just talked about with Gang of Frogs. I know you don't want to talk about it, but like look at that game. That game is a carbon copy of every looter shooter that's out right now. That game will be popular. That game will now it might not be massively popular, but it doesn't have to be. It's gonna be popular enough that people will buy it. They're gonna make money off of it.
I would say it's to be popular enough to make money off of it.
Right. And they put in minimal effort, just copying an idea of 1,000 games that already exist, that are already out there in the ether. And they changed one little thing where they made them frogs instead of people. You know what I mean? And it's just like that minimalist effort being put in, and people are just fine with it. And I don't know. I feel like as gamers, we need to demand more. It's such a weird position to be in, right? Because if we demanded more, we would get more. This is just like life. If we demanded more, we would get more. But you have to get everybody to demand more, and you'll never get everybody to demand more. There's going to be a select group of people that are just kind of fine with everything, so they'll just keep pumping it out.
It's hard. It's a hard topic, to be honest, because there's so many, like you said, there's so many younger generations that are very happy with where everything is in games. And it's one of those things we could, like you said, we're just old senile old men that are like, oh, you guys are just complaining for nothing. You need to evolve. But I just think that games nowadays don't hit the same as they did back in the day. And who knows? Maybe that is because I'm getting older. or I just don't have enough time to game to really dive into it. But at the same time, everything feels shallow in the gaming, like in the gaming industry. It all feels copy and paste, carbon copy. And I would just like to see more, like you said, more depth, more. I want to take more. I want more. That's basically what I'm trying to say. I want more in games.
You gotta demand better. Like this is there's always this yin and yang, right? And I'm gonna give me a second because I really want to make sure that I say this right. There's always a give and take here of um accessibility versus quality. And what I mean by that is it's great that things become more accessible, easier, less work, more accessible to more people. This is all good stuff. But at some point, things just get so flooded that the human brain just cannot hold that level of interest. You know what I mean? So like think about it this way. A lot of kids aren't going to remember this, but for older heads like me, do you remember going to Blockbuster on like Friday night? Okay, you go to Blockbuster on Friday night. You take a lap around Blockbuster and you grab your movie. You're excited. You're excited because you grab your movie, right? Okay, you got your movie. You take it home. Now, whether that movie is good or it's not, or it ends up being your favorite movie, or you never touch it again, is irrelevant. Because if you look at what that was an experience. It was a memory that you made of being a kid and going to Blockbuster on Friday night. You know what I mean? And like making it a thing and picking your movie, and there wasn't a lot of choices, so you just kind of pick something. What do you do when you look for something to watch on Netflix? Because I scroll for like an hour and a half before I find anything that I want to watch because there's so much on there. There's so many choices. And then by the time I'm like 45 minutes to an hour in of looking, I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to watch anything. And this is how gaming is. Like, it's just this having everything downloadable and just a billion games and they're all the same exact thing with the same exact concepts. And like, I don't know. That's what they did with gaming. Like there's too many options. They took away that midnight release. I've been waiting for this game. I bought it. I own it. I got the collector's edition statue. Come home, play it for hours. Like they took that away from us.
I think I tried getting that with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Unleashed. Like I was excited. Mutants Unleashed. I was like, ooh, I got this deluxe edition. I get in a bunch of stuff. This game's gonna be great. And then I loaded it in and I was like, this game is crap. And so like now I'm in a point where it's like, wow, do I want to do that again? Because I was excited, but knowing that I got a game that was so bad and I felt like I felt like I was scammed. I felt like the game didn't give me what I was hoping for. And yeah, there's games that you'll get burned on, but with this one, I was very excited based off of what I was watching. But that's another thing. I feel like when you buy a game nowadays too, it's like you expect so much and then it's a huge letdown because they release it unfinished with like, oh, bunch of bugs and garbage and oh, we'll fix it in the next patch, or oh, don't worry about that bug, it's gonna get fixed. Like we look at it with Cyberpunk, that game was horrendous when it released.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky and Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad. Like we look at all these games, Saints Row, and we look at these games like people they're releasing things that aren't done and getting away with it. Again, it's one of the how you're saying it's like demand more, but the average consumer, including myself, I'll buy the game and I'll play it no matter what. And it sucks because I go in there with high expectations, and maybe that's just me need to learn my lesson that wait for it to go through some patches, wait for reviews. But for us, like it's kind of our channel. Like we want to play these games that we talk about. We want to be excited about them, and it's hard to just go out there and say, "Yeah, I'm going to buy this game because I'm excited about it," instead of waiting like, okay, is this game actually good or is it full of bugs and patches that need to be done?
I feel like the gaming that I loved that really got me in, like the era of gaming that I really loved is dead.
Yeah.
I feel like it's never coming back.
Yeah.
Like
And
as much as I don't want to say it, like eventually I'm not getting a disk drive.
yeah.
PlayStation 6, maybe 7, I'm not getting a disc drive.
Yeah.
Like they're just gonna push me out.
Yeah.
They're gonna push me out. They're gonna push physical out. There is gonna be no more physical. Like, I don't know. It's sad. It
It's
really is
very
sad.
sad. It's
Yeah.
very sad.
And if you look at the cost of a disc, like how much could a disc possibly cost? I get it, digital is all profit, but like how much could one Blu-ray disc and a cheap plastic case with some paper in it cost? How much could that possibly cost you that you won't give me a disc?
I don't think it's just that though. I think it's the consumer nowadays doesn't want to go out and get a disc. You know what I mean? Like I feel like everybody's like, I want it now. Nobody wants to drive to a GameStop and wait outside and like, oh, I'm excited for this game. Nobody does that anymore. They want to use mom and dad's credit card. Like, Mom, can I buy this game? Sure, honey. Would it?
Yeah, but they're gonna wish that they did when your digital copy gets pulled. When your digital copy's not there anymore. I promise you guys. Like this is like I feel like I'm like a dad talking to my son. That's like I promise you you're going to want to do this you're going to want to know this information. You're going to want to do this young, and like me being the exact same way that I was, like obviously I'm not going to listen, but when I get to be 35, I'm like, damn, I wish I would have listened. But like, dude, I have a whole shelf over there of games that like I absolutely love. Like that shelf over there is stacked with games from PS2 to PS4 to like everything. I'm not like there's no way that they're going to hold on to catalogs like this. There's going to be games that you guys love that are your favorite games that like once they decide we don't have room for this game anymore because not enough people give a shit about it, like it's gone. But like maybe you do give it, like maybe you give a shit about it.
Especially with the live service games. Like it's even worse with those because like look at Marvel's Avengers. That one you can't get that anymore. You can't download it or you can't buy it. I think you can play it if you have it, but you can't download it or purchase it anymore. You can't do that. Again with Suicide Squad, that's going to come down to an end at some point because it was so hated, and they're not going to keep that alive forever.
No, and they just won't, because it needs to be a vast majority of people. You know what I mean? And if the vast majority doesn't care about it, as much as we talk crap about Suicide Squad and Avengers and all the other games on here that we talked crap about, there's somebody out there who that's their favorite game. That's their favorite game.
And it's going to go away.
In the whole world, that's their favorite game. And at some point, they're never going to be able to play it again. And that's like super sad.
And that's the same thing when it comes to servers too. Like, remember when PlayStation 3 shut down their store and the PSP, and like everybody threw a fit and they brought it back. So it's one of those things, like if there were enough people speaking out and speaking up, like I feel like it would change. Like I feel like the industry could change in a good way, but
there's only one way to fix it. There's only one way to fix it. You need to, number one, you need to support physical. If they have a physical version of the game that you want to play, please buy the physical. And number two, you need to just restrain from buying shit in the game. These Fall Guys show bucks and COD skins and Fortnite skins and battle passes, and you guys just got to stop buying that shit. Just I know you think it's nothing that you spent $2 on a pink unicorn for your Fortnite character, but like it matters. Like it does matter, because as long as they keep making money, they're just going to go further and further down that money making rabbit hole. We just have to stop buying microtransaction shit. And if they make a physical version of the game, buy the physical.
I don't have much else to say on the matter, except for I just wish that it was more quality, less about the microtransactions, less about being rushed. And I think it's a two-way street though. I think the developers feel like they're rushed and consumers want it so fast, but also I think the developers nowadays are like, screw the consumer, let's get as much money as we possibly can. Like I think that's where it's at.
I mean, I think it's probably like most things being coming from the top, being told. I'm looking at developers and game designers as two totally different things. If I really had to put my put my money where my mouth was, I would say that game designers don't really give a shit about all these microtransactions. It's probably coming from the top saying you need to put in X amount of shit for them to buy.
Sony, Blizzard, like the head of the companies, Microsoft, like how can we get as much money as we can?
Unfortunately, this is it's a really kind of sore subject, but I will say, guys, you're gonna want your games. You are gonna want your games. If they make physicals, buy physicals, and hold on to your old consoles because pretty soon there will be no disk drives.